There we go. All right. Welcome to today's Q&A. Hope you guys are doing great today. Let's dive in, shall we? Wait, there we go. All right, welcome to today's Q&A. My name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truckline, and we are doing what we do every Tuesday at noon Central here on our YouTube channel. We're offering an opportunity for you to ask your questions and for us to answer them. So again, my name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truckline. We go live every Tuesday for this Q&A opportunity so that you can get to know Decker a little bit, know some of the available positions that we have that are current, and of course, give you an inside look on what's happening and what our plans are for the future. So we're coming up towards the end of the year. 2023 is coming to an end, which I recognize seems sooner than I expected, but it is what it is, right? So it's happening. We're coming to a close for the year, and that means that we've got plans for next year. What does that look like? How will we continue to provide the most excellent service that we can to our customers, and of course the support for our professional drivers, and of course the dedication that our professional drivers continue to provide to our customers and throughout. So that's what we'll be talking a little bit about today, and as well as next week. I do want to give you a heads up with the holidays here in full swing. We've got Christmas coming up next Monday, so we will have our YouTube live on Tuesday at noon Central, just as always, but we won't have our Facebook Live that we usually do on Mondays. We will also have our Tuesday live on the 2nd of January, which obviously in 2 weeks. So we'll have that as well to kind of ring in the new year. We'll also be drawing on the 2nd, not during our YouTube Live, but during a Facebook Live. So make sure if you are not following us on Facebook, please do so. We need you to do so because we will be doing a drawing for the quarterly bonus, which is our referral bonus. The referral bonus is anybody who was referred or who referred somebody within that quarter and they hired on, your name is put into a drawing for a chance to win a laptop, tablet, or $1,000. So yes, everybody has chosen the $1,000 since we started this back in 2018, 2019. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how long we've done this, but it's been a few years. So either way, we do have that drawing coming up on the 2nd. So stay tuned for that. We'll give you the numbers and the breakdown for how much has been paid out for the referral bonus. We'll be talking about that next week as well. And this week, let's talk about our scorecard. Now, our scorecards are one of our monthly bonuses. We have 2 monthly bonuses for across our division. So we've got our scorecard bonus, and then we have our safety bonus. Both bonuses pay out yesterday. They paid out yesterday, but they pay out on a monthly basis, and they pay out for all the miles that you completed for the month. You get an additional bonus anywhere up to 5 cents a mile for the company drivers, and up to 3 or 4 cents a mile, as an owner-operator or lease purchase driver. But there are different levels of it. So the higher you are on the scorecard, a perfect scorecard is 1,000 points. A perfect safety is 0. So if you have a safety score of 0, congratulations, kudos to you. A job well done, and that earns you an extra penny per mile on all the miles that you completed for the month. And on the company side, if you have a perfect score of 1,000 on the scorecard, that gets you an additional 4 cents a mile on all the miles that you completed for the month. So let's talk about criteria. And we do talk about this on a monthly basis to keep those of you in the loop who are new to Decker or just being introduced to Decker Truckline. But the scorecard, the full 1,000 points, the 4 cents a mile as a company driver, includes your fuel compliance, your idle time, preventable accidents, CSA violations, miles, on-time delivery, and claims. Those are the 7 criteria. Now, if you have a preventable accident or incident, or if you have a CSA violation or a claim, those points, or a late load, those claims or that criteria, if you had any of those that I just named, then you forfeit the points for that different criteria. They're all weighed a little bit different. So preventable accidents, CSA violations, those are all worth worth 200 points. So you forfeit those points. It'll bring you down to 800 if you had a preventable accident. It'll bring you down to 800 instead of the 1,000 points. And therefore you wouldn't meet the criteria in that case for that scorecard bonus. Now, if you had like for fuel compliance or idle time, you can have different intervals of that. And so if you had a high compliance on the fuel compliance, but maybe you were a little bit lower on the idle time, maybe you idled a little bit more, then you could get a portion of that 4 cents a mile. And so you would be looking at, and again, it depends on where you're at on that, but then you'd be looking at probably 3 cents a mile or 2 cents a mile, depending on where you're at on those levels. So if you have questions as a company driver, I highly suggest you reach out to your driver manager and walk through your scorecard with them. If you have questions on the scorecard in general, like what is it, that's what we have here. That's what we're answering for you here. So Flatbed Trucker, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. So yesterday we paid out over $61,000 in between our scorecard and our safety bonus for the month of November, because November pays in December, December pays in January, and so forth. So everything that you ran the month prior was calculated around the third pay period of this following month, and is paid and paid out, and of course scored. So again, if you haven't looked at your score, go onto your tablet. You can log in, and there's a section for your scorecard. So you can go into the scorecard and log in and see what your scores are. 1,000 points is the perfect score. Anything 825 or above will pay at least 1 cent per mile on all the miles. Now, a safety score is a little bit different because that's based off of our Lytx system. Our Lytx is a full-on safety unit, which does include both inward and outward facing event recorders, lane departure, speed gauge, all of that. And that is, so first of all, the inward and outward facing event recorders, those kick on during critical events. It's not a live feed, so, we're not visiting here. But we do have those in all of our trucks. With the lane departure, the speed gauge, all of that is used with, there's a monitor on the front of the truck that you do want to make sure is clean, because that could throw some of the numbers off or some of the data off as well if it's not clean. So it's right by the what do I want to say, like license plate on the bumper there. If it's frosted out, you just want to clean that off so that it's working properly for you. But that is all part of the Lytx system, our safety bonus, which pays out also the third pay period of the month following when you ran it. So, and again, that's a penny per mile. So anything 10 or below pays out at that penny per mile, and a perfect score being 0. You get recognized, name posted, all that good stuff for the safety bonus. Now, the scorecard and the safety bonus are both used when it comes looking at the driver of the month. The driver of the month, that's a stepping stone. So not only is obviously driver of the month, but we use the scorecard and the safety bonus to prep you for the driver of the month. The driver of the month is not solely based on the scorecard and the safety bonus. So I do want to make sure that you are well aware of that, because a lot of that is, or a lot of what goes into the driver of the month is the kind of the extra things that you do as well. Recognizing that maybe you helped out with a swap, or you've done a few different opportunities to help other drivers get home, and you've gone over and beyond to help out with things. Those are all also reasons why you would be nominated for Driver of the Month. Now, Driver of the Month, that sets you up for Driver of the Year. So with Driver of the Month, in addition to whatever you got for scorecard and safety, monthly bonus, you'll also get a $100 gift card for Walmart for Driver of the Month, and you'll get a $50 gift card to our Decker store, where you can get all kinds of fun gifts and trinkets and stuff like that. Shirts, jackets, gloves, hats, boots, I mean, all kinds of things. Anyways, those are all at the Decker store. $100 Walmart gift card and a $50 gift card to the Decker store. Now we have nominees as well, and those nominees will also receive a gift from Decker as well as a $50 gift card to Walmart. But not every division has a nominee because it depends on how many people or how many of our professional drivers are in that division. Our Midwest Flatbed division is a smaller division, so we don't have additional nominees for that one. Where we would, or where we do for our over-the-road refrigerated, that's our largest division, is our refrigerated division, and so we have a couple of nominees for that as well. You can only win Driver of the Month one time within the calendar year. One time. And the reason being is that sets us up for 12 winners for the year. So 12 Driver of the Year winners for that division. And those winners are then reevaluated, continuing to evaluate them for Driver of the Year. So Driver of the Year is chosen from the Driver of the Months. You can be Driver of the Month if you were in one division and then in another division. So you can be it twice technically, but per division you can only be Driver of the Year one time within the calendar year. And for most cases, that's you're staying in the same division. So that's how it is. What else can I tell you for that? With the Driver of the Year, you get a $3,000 bonus, and that is announced usually at the end or close to the end of the first quarter of the year following. So Katie and Tammy and everybody will be working on the Driver of the Year nominations and gathering all of that information so that we will be able to do our Driver of the Year program. Usually around the end of the first quarter, we have a big dinner, a big event for our Driver of the Year and Grand Champion. Those Driver of the Years for every division will come and celebrate their achievements, and then we will choose the Grand Champion from the Driver of the Years. So that Grand Champion, instead of getting the $3,000 for the Driver of the Year, they will get a $15,000 bonus Grand Champion title, along with the jacket, decals, the whole shebang. It's quite an event, and it's a lot of fun to put on. So we'll be able to celebrate with you. That is a surprise, though. Nobody knows who it is until it is announced at the ceremony. So more to come on that here in the next couple of months. Chuck Myers. Hey, Chuck from Tacoma, Washington. Would this be a good area, or would Portland area work also? Also, do you do lease purchase here? So yes, and yes. I'm going to elaborate a little bit though. Tacoma, Washington is a good area. So is Portland, Oregon. Both of them are going to be in our over-the-road refrigerated division. So in both cases, you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks out and then home for 3 to 4 days. Bringing the truck home with you on your home time. Now, as it is for lease purchase, I definitely do not suggest lease purchase at this moment. It is December of 2023 for all of those, just in case you're watching the replay, because we do keep these up for replays. But in December of 2023, I would not recommend doing a lease purchase, at least at this moment. We've had some very successful lease purchase programs. We still have people who are doing the lease purchase that are still successful. However, moving into this with the way that the economy and the industry are, I would hold off until it kind of levels out and gets back to, I'm not sure if there's ever a norm in trucking, but until it levels out a little bit. We do have a lease purchase, Chuck. It's available to you after 6 months as a company driver here at Decker. And you do need to make sure that your scorecard and your safety scores, what we've already been discussing today, that both of those are high rated. So you've got a great safety score, meaning it's 10 or below, and you have a constant scorecard of 825 or above. Again, that being said, I would highly recommend you holding off, because we pay 72% of the load plus the fuel surcharge. With what rates are now, with our company positions and our minimum pays, so you're going to make at least this much each and every, and in your case it'd be $1,000 minimum pay every week. Your rate of pay per mile and the number of miles that you run, they can definitely exceed, and most likely will exceed, that $1,000 per week. But because you have that safety net, you don't have a safety net in the lease purchase program. And with the way the economy is, I would just hold off. So, and Chuck, to be fair, I get asked that question all the time. And I got asked it, 2 years ago. I was singing a whole different tune. I was like, do it. This is the time. Take advantage of it. But right now I wouldn't. We do have the program. I just would hold off. So, Flatbed Trucker says, I would be a company driver for now. Yes, exactly. And we do require you drive as a company driver for 6 months anyway. So you can start on. And in 6 months, I can't tell the future. It could be a perfect time at that moment. But as of right now, it's not. So yeah, that's my very lengthy explanation. RJ Quick, how are you? Birmingham, Alabama. We have a terminal out of Bessemer, for those of you who do or may not know. Bessemer, Alabama is one of our flatbed terminals. We run over the road in that division, but we really don't do anything west of Denver in our flatbed division. Most of it's going to be up and down the Midwest, towards the east, real heavy in the southeast, as well as the Midwest, even though we will go all over there. Texas, Oklahoma, the Carolinas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, all really good locations for us, as well as Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, southern Michigan. Those are really heavy freight ways for us, for anybody interested, whether you're looking for home weekly or over the road. Now, some of the locations that I just named aren't home weekly. Alabama, Georgia, the hiring areas, we do have some hiring areas there that are home weekly. Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, we have a lot of home weekly areas out of there. So if you're looking for home weekly opportunities in our flatbed. And usually with flatbed, you're looking at coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. Usually for an early Monday morning delivery. Well, a 7 a.m. is pretty common for that one. We do a lot of building supplies, steel sheets, coils, what else? Sheetrock or wallboard. So we do a lot of building supplies, and those are oftentimes delivering to construction sites or to like Home Depots or Lowe's or anything like that. Those are pretty common. Chuck says, I am still in the Army Reserve and I retire this summer. Awesome. So it'll be a little bit of time. We'll have to re-navigate what's opportunities wise, what's going to be the best for you. I've been driving since 94, he says, and I'm currently running Washington to Louisiana. No, to LA, right? Los Angeles. And then back. Thank you for taking my question. Of course, absolutely. So yeah, this one, when you retire, you'll open up a lot more opportunity. Before you retire, I am not sure. So let's see. The hard part is when you're in the reserve, you still do your home. Let me see. What is it? Is it still the first weekend of every month? My brother moved to the second weekend of every month. But 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, right? So, yeah, just making sure that we can get you to that location on your home time. So those are wherever that location is, whether it be Portland or Tacoma would be the best. Just making sure that we can get you to that location. In this case, those locations are doable. So, yeah. Yes. By the way, we do love to have our veteran decals on the trucks as well. So if you are a veteran of any of the U.S. branch of government, whether you're of military, Army, Navy, Air Force, all of the above, then we do have the decals specific for your branch. So So we can get those on there for you. You just have to bring your DD214 and then we can get that set up for you. Cool. That was a bit of a side note, but I figured I'd throw that out there. So speaking of trucks, most of our trucks are the 579 Peterbilts. They are, the 579s are big. Like they are double bunk. Pretty much all of our trucks are double bunk, but they're double bunk. They have the Ultraloft sleepers. We do have APUs, inverters, refrigerators, microwaves, 22-inch television, plus the Epic View satellite TV programming. That is company paid. That's part of that smart TV that's in there. And then on the back of the trucks, you'll see that Epic View unit, the little globe on the back of the truck that is up there for your satellite, basically. And then we have free Wi-Fi on the TransFlow GeoTab unit, on the tablet that's in the truck. We do have the equipment for the Sirius radio. However, you would have to hold the Sirius radio contract or the subscription for that. Where with the TV, the satellite television, Decker holds that subscription for you, so there's no cost to you on that one. What else can I tell you? CB units in the truck, they both air ride on the passenger as well as the driver's side as well as the passenger. We do allow riders ages 10 on up, and then we have a dog policy as well. So dogs 85 pounds or less can ride, or if you have two dogs, 65 pounds combined is approved. It's a $500 deposit where $250 of that $500 is non-refundable. So that's the dog policy and the rider policy and the equipment. We also have on the equipment, some of them are equipped with solar panels as well as the APUs, because the solar panels will help the life term or the term of the life or the life expectancy of the APU unit. Just keep that going a little bit longer. It makes life a little bit easier for it. We also have some of those solar units on the refrigerated unit as well to help that last longer as well. Now our trucks are on average between 16 and 18 months. So the oldest is right around the 3-year mark. We've got some 2020s. Most of them right now, I think, are the 2022, 2021s for the most part. That's the majority, I think, right now for trucks that we have. We do have some 2024s, and we're constantly upgrading. Obviously, when we have those newer models, the state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line equipment, we're constantly updating, and so you'll see those being swapped out. Our veteran drivers, I know some of you probably see some of those 389s. Those are spec'd out for some of our drivers who've been here 15 plus years. They get to spec some of those. But most of our trucks are going to be the 579 Peterbilts. We have a few Volvos and a few Freightliners. The Volvos are a combination of 860s, 780s, and then for the flatbed division, we have a couple of 740s. And then for the Freightliners, Cascadia Evolution. But those combined are a small percentage of our fleet. That's the word I was looking for. However, our Peterbilts are over 95% of our fleet. So definitely a larger chunk of the fleet that we have are the 579s. But all of our equipment comes with those amenities that I mentioned: the APU, the refrigerator, the microwave, the CB units, the tablet, the navigation, and everything. All of that is in the trucks. The double bunks as well. So if you guys have questions, please reach out to us. The number that's like flying across the screen back and forth, 877-433-2537. That's the number to our recruiting department. And you can get a hold of one of our recruiters and they can answer more specifics on not only the equipment, but also on availability out of your area. Because that changes all the time. That's why we do these lives, is because the available positions can change from one day to the next. So speaking of, we do have one local opportunity available out of Fort Dodge. So if you live in Fort Dodge, Iowa, we have a 5:30 p.m. start for a local run, or a dedicated run, I should say, from Fort Dodge, Iowa to Blair, Nebraska and back. So it's home daily. You start at 5:30. It's roughly an 8-hour shift because you're running from Fort Dodge to Blair and back. It's a hopper position. Yes, we do have hopper. We only have a few, but we have a hopper position here, and it pays per shift. It pays $250 per shift Monday through Friday. If you're on a Saturday, Sunday shift, it pays $275. And the reason I say if you're on that is because it's 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off, and 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off, and it just keeps that rotation going. ZXCB 2009 says we need KW trucks. No KW here. A little bit too heavy, I think, for some of our freight as well. We don't, mostly Peterbilts. So KW, as an owner operator, I guess you probably could be. But most of our freight, like I said, at least the Kenworths that I'm aware of, are often run a little heavier, so it might not be an option. What else can I tell you that was for the local position. So again, $250 for Monday through Friday shifts, $275 for the Saturday and Sunday shifts. Basically, every third weekend is a 3-day weekend for you because it's 2 on, 2 off, 3 off, 3 off. We also have our over-the-road refrigerated position, which is out 14 to 17 days at a time. In some locations, we can get you home on a weekly basis, and we can also get you home every 11 days for 3 days. That all depends on where you live, so the best thing to do is to reach out to our recruiting department, and the recruiters can tell you based off of where it is that you live and our current openings. If you put your zip code in the chat, I can also give you an up-to-date live right here so that it kind of gives you an idea of what we've got available as well. So answering questions. As for dedicated, the only current dedicated position that we have right now is that home daily hopper position. Other than that, we have home weekly options out of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. We have Alabama, Georgia. We have some home weekly options as well, flatbed and refrigerated. So yes, reach out to us, 877-433-2537. Leotin says, Decker gave me a 2024 Freightliner with only 200 miles. So looking new, like it. Yes, most of the time our newer trucks usually go to our veteran drivers who've been here as we're switching you off. Of course, if the truck that you're in needs an upgrade, if you're needing an upgrade sooner rather than later, then we're working you in a little bit earlier than others. That said, the trucks, again, they're on an average of about 18 months. We do have a great maintenance system, so their maintenance program, So we've got the maintenance support that's 24/7. They're available to you. Not all of our shops are open on the weekends. Like Bessemer won't be open on the weekends until after the first of the year. However, they are obviously open Monday through Friday. We have the support system, and we can maintenance support is available 24/7. But where was I going with that? But yeah, we do keep you moving. And if your truck is in the shop, if we recognize that it's going to be in the shop for a while because of whatever the issue is with it, then we will probably move you into another truck to keep you moving so that you're not sitting. Because yes, we have, as I bumped my desk, sorry. We have our minimum pay across the board, pretty much across the board. So you're going to make that base, right? You're going to make at least, in most cases, $1,000 a week. Now, there's a couple of other minimum pays out there depending on the division, but let's say $1,000 a week. You're going to make that. Now, in order to make that, you do need to be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, so no driver service failures. So no load refusals and no driver service failures in order to qualify for that minimum pay. Easy enough. No preventable accidents and no CSA violations in order to qualify. And then get your paperwork in. You have until tonight at 10 p.m. to get your paperwork in and get paid Friday for it. So it's a really quick turnaround. Now, if you had a preventable incident or you didn't get your paperwork in or failed to meet one of those requirements, then you'll get the rate of pay per mile times the miles that you ran, which in most cases is going to exceed the minimum pay anyway. But it's nice to have that safety net so that if for some reason maybe you were out with maintenance or weather or whatever it might be, and you weren't able to get those miles, you still had that safety net. So you knew you could budget basically off of that. Now, if that being said, if your truck is in the shop, so you're available for dispatch, but you're not because your truck is in the shop, as long as you're communicating with your driver manager and we know that that's why you're not available, then you're still qualifying for that minimum pay. You get the maintenance pay, or the breakdown pay. We have breakdown pay there and available. But if you're, say you've got a couple of days of breakdown pay, just as an example, okay? So it's $100 for the first day for breakdown. It's $150 for the second day of breakdown, and then it's $200 for the third, and if it continued on. And again, if it continues on, we're probably just going to swap you out and get you a different truck so that you're not sitting there waiting, because you do make more money usually running, right? Getting the miles in and everything. And then if we're offering you that truck to keep you moving, to keep your rate up there, then of course you don't have to rely on that minimum pay. You're running on your miles. So I know I was going somewhere with that, but I was just trying to give you a full picture. Leotin says, I so love it at Decker, wouldn't trade it for a thing. Well, we love to have you, so we're very glad that you are here. Thank you. Chuck says, do you run to the Northeast? Yes, we have some runs to the Northeast, but we don't do a whole lot of it. We try to avoid it in most divisions. However, I know that we have an ice cream run that goes into the southwest corner of New York. So I do know that there's a load that goes into there. You won't see the New England states or New York a whole lot, if at all, because like I said, we do try to avoid it for the most point, because there's not a lot of runs in there. We haven't in the past. I mean, we've had a lot of the same customers for over 90 years. So that kind of gives you an idea. We've got a great, strong customer base. The majority of our freight is customer contracted, like 96%, I think 97% in the refrigerated division, and closer to 94% in the flatbed division, I believe, is customer contracted. But that being said, one of the contracts is in that southwestern corner of New York. So you're probably not going to go up further northeast of that, but we do have that run right there. And if you are, if that's an area that you're trying to avoid, communicating that with your driver manager is very important. Actually, starting with your recruiter, communicating that with your recruiter first and foremost is the best thing, because in some cases we can't avoid it. If you were to live in Pennsylvania and you didn't want to run there, well, odds are that might be the run that you see more than somebody who lives in Tacoma like yourself. Good, I don't like it up there. That's completely understandable. I don't blame you. Leotin says, I just hope to raise the governed speed one day. Okay, so speaking of, our trucks are governed at 68 on the cruise and 65 on the pedal. So that's a good point as well, just to remind you that. Speaking of equipment, I know we talked a little bit about what kind of equipment we have, but let's kind of get into more specific since we're talking about governed speed and stuff like that. The Peterbilts are the MX-13, and they do have the Cummins engine in them. They're both 10 and 12 speed automatics, so they are automatics. The Volvos are D13 engines with 12 speed automatic transmission, and the Freightliners, and again, most of our trucks are the Peterbilts, but we do have a couple Freightliners, and those are the DD15, right? With a 12-speed automatic. Sorry, one second. And then diving in deeper into some of the individual equipment, we do have Best Pass for, for, of course, the passes and stuff like that, K-Pass and everything included in that. So we have Best Pass. We have DriveWise. as well. So we have a lot of features that way. The CB units that are in the truck, most of those are the Cobra 25 LTDs, and I believe there's some Cobra 29s as well. The APUs that are in the truck, we have the Thermo King units. If you are at all having issues with your APU, our maintenance department has put together several videos for troubleshooting to help answer your questions. And it depends on actually the unit that you're using, because they've put together a couple of different troubleshooting videos for us that are on our YouTube channel. And they are specific to the unit, so they can answer. APUs are fantastic, but when they don't work, it's frustrating, right? Especially when it gets cold and stuff like that. So that's why they've put those on there so that you have access to them. Sometimes it's just nice to see what they're talking about, not just hear it when you call in for maintenance support. But if it is full-blown not working, they'll work you in to get you either into one of our shops or make arrangements with one close that they can get you in there. Yeah. What else can I tell you? What were we talking about? APUs. Speaking of APUs this time of year, make sure that you are treating your fuel, because the APU unit does run off of the fuel in the truck. So if you're not treating it and you're in some cold weather, it's going to be affected. It's not going to work. If your truck gels up, your APU will gel up. So make sure that you are using the anti-gel or the additive in order to prevent any issues, especially when it starts getting cold. I know it's uncommonly warm right now, at least in my neck of the woods. I'm out of Montana. We have a terminal in Missoula, Montana, by the way. But I'm out of Montana, so I'm used to colder weather this time of year, where we're not getting it. It's like, I think it's like 50 degrees here today. It's not telling me. My watch isn't telling me. But it's absolutely gorgeous. No wind. And so these are not things that would be top of mind today. However, normally this time of year, they are. So please make sure that you're putting the additive in your trucks, as well as your refrigerated units. All right, I got sidetracked. But you want your APU to work. That's one way to keep it working properly. Leotin says, I have OptiIdle and it is wonderful. OptiIdle does help with the scorecard as well, because we have our idle or an idle criteria in the scorecard framework. And so having the OptiIdle, you don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, don't have to be aware of it. It just takes care of it for you. I do have to say that we have some, this is a side note for myself, but we do have some professional drivers who are even better at than the OptiIdle. They rock. Okay. Anyways, we have inverters in the truck. In the Peterbilts, I believe they are behind the microwave. So if you're looking to plug in, say you have a CPAP or something, you can plug that in the back there. Navigation is in the truck. It's through the Transflow Geotap system. It's an ALK. The bunk heaters are underneath the underneath the bunk, the bottom bunk, and they're S-bar. So we have a few, no, I think we're out of the Webasto. I think those have kind of circulated out. So I think mostly S-bar right now. I think I'm saying that right. That's how I pronounce it. I don't know if that's right. Matt will have to correct me otherwise. And yes, we have the safety features of the Lytx system for both inward and outward facing event recorders, lane departures, beacon gauge, all that good stuff. Free Wi-Fi also part of the tablet. So if you log into the tablet, you can get the Wi-Fi link here in there. Pretty easy process. Also a video on our YouTube channel on how to do that. We have DriveWise for the scales. We have our fuel solution program. Trying to think of what else in the truck. Sirius Radio, kind of talked about that. What am I missing? Any specific questions? The tablet is for the Wi-Fi. It is a Verizon. They go off of Verizon towers. So if you're in an area that isn't great with Verizon, just know that that's going to affect your Wi-Fi. Yeah. How does PTO work? Oh, good question. So we do have vacation after, well, first of all, your time out, for every 7 days you're out, it's about a day and a half home time. In most of our divisions, if you're out for 5 days, you're home for 2. That's often the case. Like flatbed, they're coming home on like a Friday night or a Saturday morning, leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. But usually we figure a day and a half for every 7 days out. So over the road refrigerated, if you're out 3 weeks, you're home for 4 days, that type of thing. Paid time off. Okay. So you have 1 week of vacation after you've been here for 6 months. You've got your 1 week of vacation and 5 days of vacation. And then after you've been here for a year, you'll have another 5 days of vacation. You'll have another 5 days at your 2-year mark. At your 3-year mark, you'll have 10 days of vacation. And so years 3, 4, 5, and 6, you'll have 10 days of vacation each year. And then at year 7, it goes up to 15 days. So at year 7, you'll have 8 and 9 and so on. You'll have 15 days of vacation allotted to you. But again, if you're staying out and accumulating some of those days, we figure for every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. Does that answers your question, right? Making sure. When it comes to home time, one thing to remember is because we do have that minimum pay, that safety net, right? Okay, yes. Okay, awesome. Because we do have that minimum pay there, you want to make sure that your home time, if you're an over-the-road driver, say you're staying out multiple days at a time or multiple weeks at a time. For instance, say you're over the road refrigerated and you're staying out for at least 2 weeks at a time. You want to make sure that you're taking home time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that, where you are including Tuesday as one of those days, because Tuesday is the cutoff day. And if you are going to maximize your home time, your earned home time, and of course your minimum pay, then I would say make sure that you're straddling your home time on the cutoff. Because remember the requirements that I mentioned for the minimum pay? You have to be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. Well, for refrigerated, those 5 days could be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? So those could be the 5 days. It's not on the weekend necessarily, especially with refrigerated. And if you're straddling the pay period, then you can ultimately you can be home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and still qualify for the minimum pay. If you're, say you're out 2 weeks at a time or 3 weeks at a time or whatever, and you want to maximize your home time, just have 2 days on one side of the pay period and 2 days on the other side of the pay period, the cutoff being Tuesday. Then you're going to have those 4 days combined and able to take advantage of the home time that you've earned, right? But if you took them all within the same week, then you miss out on your minimum pay. And again, we have that minimum pay there for you so that you have that protection on your home time. So you're not losing out when you go home. Because you're putting in all that work when you're out on the road. That's our way of just protecting your pay, protecting your earnings. Let's see, and pay is direct deposit every Friday, if I didn't already mention that. Everything that's in by Tuesday night is paid Friday. You've got the minimum pay at least, or your rate of pay per mile times the miles that you ran, whichever is going to be greater. And yes, we have detention and layover and mechanical breakdown. We have all of those, and those will go along with your rate of pay per mile. But if those combined with your rate of pay per mile, for some reason, like maybe you did have a breakdown or weather or whatever, and you weren't able to exceed that minimum pay, then we'll make the difference up so that you have that minimum pay. Cool. All right. Benefits start after 60 days. Those are available after 60 days, includes medical, dental, vision, prescription. The prescription coverage is brag-worthy. As of now, it's a $0 copay. We do have company-paid life insurance on you. You can increase that amount as well. It's $10,000 to start. And then we also have 401k. The 401k is a 50% match. You can maximize that. You can put up to 10%, or excuse me, you can put up to 8% of your total earnings to maximize the match on that. So yeah, Guy-Wise, how are ya? What's up? That reminds me, what is it? Was it Mountain Dew, Pepsi? What was that commercial? I can't remember what it was. It's been too long, I guess. Leoton says, I've been here over 60 days. Yeah, with making sure that you've got your paperwork in. So what happens is Cisco is who cares for our insurance and everything. Your situation was a little bit different, so I would highly recommend you reach out to Andrea if you're not seeing it, because you were reinstated. So those are things that you'll want to double check on. But yes, at 60 days, your insurance kicks in. 61st day of employment. So you'll get a phone call and from the Cisco, and what they'll do is they'll walk through what you signed up for. So say you signed up for $100,000 worth of life insurance, and maybe you signed up for short-term disability and long-term disability insurance, as well as prescription and medical. Say you got the whole shebang, right? They're going to go through each little thing with you that you signed up for, and they're going to tell you what that price tag is on that. So you know what the premium is for each thing, and then they'll tell you the total. So you can expect, you know what to expect will be coming out of your settlement each week based off of all the benefits you have. Now, if you decide that you've got way too many benefits and you need to pull back on some of those because maybe you need more funds available to you, then that's when you make the changes, is right then and there on that phone call. The open enrollment is usually around mid-November, so mid-November, that open enrollment will go into effect on January 1st. But other than that, that's the only opportunity you have to make changes to your insurance, unless you had a life-changing event, like you just got married, or you just had a kid, or an adoption, or maybe there was a death in the family. Those are life-changing events which would open up, and I don't necessarily know if you would consider it open enrollment, but open up an opportunity for changes to be made to your insurance. Or if your spouse, if they had the insurance for you and they lost their job, if their job was terminated, then it opens up an opportunity where you can make those changes. But other than that, that has to be done during the open enrollment period each year. Yeah. Can you bank home time? Home time can be banked up to a point. Figure, I use Felix as an example. He will stay out months at a time, and then he'll take a week or two off. That's fine. Let's give another instance. We have a gentleman that's coming in for home time, and I just spoke to him, so that's why I know this. But he's coming in for home time, obviously, during Christmas, and he is taking off the week after as well. So he's combining his 5 days of 5 days of PTO with his home time, his 4 days of home time, in order to maximize his time off. So yes, you can do it that way. You can't bank it into, and I just want to make sure that I'm answering your question. So I'm giving all kinds of scenarios, but you can't bank it where you didn't use it this time around, but now you're going to be using it, next home time or the home time after that. We don't bank it that way. You can't keep track of that. We do keep track of we do keep track of PTO time, but when it comes to home time, and I only use 1 day on this home time, so then I'm going to use the next 3 on the next, that isn't the case. We can't bank it that way, if that's what you're asking me. It was a Budweiser commercial. That's right. That was a long time ago. Super chat. Hello. How are ya? Hey, thanks for joining us. Chuck, I hope that answers your question, and I'm not sure that's necessarily what you were looking for, but that's that I guess that's the best way to explain it and make sure that it was clear. Okay. Yeah. All right, you guys. Any other specific questions before I let you go for the day? Yeah. Well, again, we will be live here next Tuesday. So on the 26th, we will be live here on our YouTube channel. We will not be live on our Facebook, so you'll want to be here on Tuesday if you want the information for the week. Now, the 2nd, we will also be live here on our YouTube channel. So, cool? Oh, Super Chat says, I'm quarantined in my truck and I got the flu and strep. It is going around. I don't know about here at Decker, but I know in Montana, it sure is coming around. We've seen a lot of it. Remember to wear disposable gloves. Yeah, it is a nasty flu bug that's going around. Kicking you, huh? Yeah, not fun at all. So, rest up, get better, heal up, right? Yeah, don't want to get worn out. And don't want to spread it when you go home. Well, I hope you feel better. All right, so if you guys have more questions, either leave them in the chat. I will continue to monitor them and answer the questions as they come in. It just won't be on today's live video. It'll just be in the Q&A after the fact, or the comments after the fact. Otherwise, we will see you here next Tuesday. The offices will be closed on Monday the 25th, Christmas, and Monday the 1st, New Year's. But remember, we do have, of course, the 24/7 roadside support, maintenance support, and we also have the operations that's 24/7. You just won't have the full staff behind the scenes on those days. We also will have some of the shops will be closed, or the shops will be closed for Christmas. They'll close on Friday night and be closed until Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Except for Missoula. Missoula will open up at 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and they'll close at 5 p.m. on Friday. So most of them will be closed over the weekend. So yes. Okay, cool. All right, so we will see you next week here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't had an opportunity to go check out some of the videos on our trucks, please go ahead and do so. We'd love for you to check them out, share them. We're pretty proud of our equipment and what we offer. So you're welcome. Thanks for joining me today. You guys have an awesome rest of your week. Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then. And otherwise, we'll see you on the 26th. Take care.